Whoa, we're way over to the side. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the D-Pad, to our Patreon hangout for November. November was kind of a busy month. There was a lot going on, so we didn't get a chance to. I just paranoidly looked down and was like, "Oh God, am I at streaming volume or at recording volume?" At some point, I will figure out a better way to make this uh, something I don't have to worry about. I used to, when we were back at the old apartment, it was actually very easy because I literally just had a desk mic and a couch mic. We had a bunch of couch mics, and I had one desk mic that I used to record anything that was at the desk. Any streaming I did, any reviews, any reaction videos, that sort of thing. I would do those from the desk, and so I had a whole different setup so I could set it to what I needed for there. But right now I don't have that. I don't know that I'll necessarily. I don't know that I want two microphones just here. I feel like that's kind of needless. So I don't know. I'll figure something out. I'm slowly advancing the tech that we have here. I have a. I can't. I don't think it's long enough to pull on camera, but I now have an audio jack switcher so that I can just press a button and switch between audio is coming out of the speakers, audio is coming out of my headphones. I have the cans that I wear for Mario Party games because otherwise my audio gets picked up. Like my audio, I mean, this would happen for anybody. This is the reason everybody wears headphones for it. But my audio would get picked up by everybody, and not just that. If it's loud enough, my audio on everybody else's would then also get picked up by each other, depending on how many other people don't have headphones on. But so that's been an improvement. I'm working on getting a dual display situation so that I can just mirror or have an extra monitor on the TV. Because right now, if we're doing anything that involves XSplit, like if we're recording something or streaming something, less for streaming unless it's a marathon stream, but if we're recording something that's on the computer, such as, God, what's a good example? Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch, when we were playing that. I guess it's not a good example. I don't think we've played it since we moved, but if I were to do that for a recording session that had more than just me, so if Jeff is here or Peter or John or whoever, then I have to move a bunch of HDMI cables so that we can cast it onto the TV. Not cast it, just HDMI connected to the TV. And that's like, it's not the end of the world, but it's annoying, right? Like, it's annoying to have to do that. And then immediately after we're done, if we're recording something on the Switch, I have to put all the cables back together. And it's just fucking frustrating. So I'm working on getting either a second HDMI out or a display port out or something for the PC. I need to look into what exactly I need to do for that because I'm a little unclear. I have the connector. I have a display port to HDMI, but I don't think any of the display ports on the PC actually function. I don't think there's anything connected on the other side. So that's where all that's at. I have so many things that I want to do. I want to eventually have at least one. It'd be nice to actually. So, I mean, thing one is I want to have. I think I've talked about this. I want to have a kind of a above to the left of the TV. There's a blank space on the wall. I don't see us putting anything there. It'd be nice to put like a flat monitor, not with a stand, but just the actual monitor part up there, and wire it to our computer setup such that we can have chat just right there, and be good to go for, like, it's not a big deal because like I can see the chat here, and I will say hello. I'll say hello now, hello, but it's a lot trickier when we do group streams. It's doable if there's two of us, but once we get past that into like 3 or 4 or 5, it's not feasible to have everybody looking across the room at the computer to be able to see it. Usually we have like a tablet or two set up, but that's also like, it's not that impractical, but it takes up space. Like, it would be nice, like literally when Jeff was doing an Indo, he had his laptop and he had a separate tablet so that he could follow the stream chat, which made it so that we really didn't have space for the cupcakes, which were supposed to be kind of like the main sort of centerpiece. But obviously we got to move stuff if stuff needs to be moved so that the actual event can happen, right? But so we have a thing on the wall somewhere that's got chat, especially if it's like 10 degrees of difference from the screen. Makes it a lot easier for whoever is doing whatever to read it, and then we have more space at our disposal that we can work with, which would be kind of great. um I've debated at some point moving the actual rig into the other room, which would then probably mean that I'd be streaming from the other room. Not necessarily, but probably. But if I did that, I would actually probably want to do two more of those screens, either vertically down the wall, or there's another spot on the other side that kind of works, so that I could mirror this computer screen so I could see what is recording, and the MacBook screen so I can see that the audio is still running. Because that's the biggest risk right now of moving any of this stuff into the other room, is I need to know whether stuff is breaking or not. Because back in the studio days, back in the old studio days, this was like 2013 to like 2014, maybe 2015. We couldn't really see the screen very well from where we were sitting at all, to the point where usually John, would like get up in between a couple, like every couple episodes, he'd get up and like, okay, we're still good, which is how we wound up with a couple episodes here and there that got lost because we would lose audio and not notice for a while. Still happens now and then, but just turning 90 degrees and going, yep, we're still good, is a lot easier than like physically getting up and moving over and stuff. So like I could hypothetically set it up such that I could look into the other room and see the screens, but at that point we're like getting into a whole we're now like refurnishing and rearranging everything based off of that, which starts to feel a little bit overkill. But the big reason is I do all the recording, all the streaming, and all the editing from the couch, which was very convenient when we moved in, because it was like, sweet, we don't really have the space for the desk in this room, and being able to do it from the couch seems at least a little bit more comfortable than having like a desk set up and like recording from the desk or whatever, which wound up being a little short-sighted on my part, because the couch, it'd be one thing if the desk was like in front of me here, this is forward right now. This would be at least a little bit more reasonable, but it's not. It's like 45 degrees to the side, and I have like an extending thing for the monitor, so it pulls it out a little bit closer to the front. So right now I'm turned probably about like 30 degrees away from the screen. Maybe not even. It might be more like 25 is where the camera is, and that's kind of in the right quarter of the monitor. The center is still basically 45 degrees. And I've got like the desk, the lap desk thing that I use for like keyboard and mouse, because that way I can kind of just, all right, I can just turn my head and do it like this, as opposed to like I was legit giving myself back problems for a little while, because I had to not only twist 45 degrees on the couch, I also had to lean down all the way over here, and now I'm like kind of leaning on my elbow, and it looks like I'm very cool. But now imagine being another 15 degrees to the side and sitting like this for hours a day. So not ideal. So incremental improvements. We're trying to keep them like budget friendly too, because so I've got like I have a oh my god, independent contracting thing that I'm doing at this point, which is good. It helps pay the mortgage, which is great. But that's kind of all that it's able to do, is like that and putting stuff away for the last of like student loans and stuff. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm not biting off more that I can chew in terms of tech stuff. Like I've had to get very creative with the hard drives lately. And it's working fine. It was really a matter of like, okay, if I juggle these just the right way, I can whittle this down into only needing I can buy one hard drive and solve a lot of problems at once. And I did. The Zelda, let's see, is it the raw one? Eek, let me check. It should be right there. Yes, I bought a new hard drive that is now where I contain the raw footage for Zelda videos for the Legendary Let's Play, and that is an 18 terabyte hard drive, upgraded from 14. I would have done 16, but the 16 was just not available, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll do 18. I'll just, I won't have to worry about ordering another one anytime soon. So all the stuff on the 14 went to the 18, and then all the stuff on the 12 terabyte Pokemon raw hard drive went to the 14 terabyte now empty drive, and just kind of it's a cascade of like, okay, here's the stuff that fits there, here's the one that goes there, here's the one that goes there. It's been a very tense game, but I know that if I play my cards right and I keep track of this, then a single purchase, and these hard drives are not like crazy expensive, they're not like unreasonably expensive, but they get to the ballpark of like, once you get to like 18 terabytes, they get in the ballpark of like $300, which is not cheap. But rather than just being, all right, here's 18 terabytes, it's, all right, here's 4 extra terabytes for Zelda, here's 2 extra terabytes for Pokemon. I think it was 2 extra terabytes for Resident Evil. Resident Evil, I want to say, was like right up against the limit. We were not quite there, but we were getting close, and we've got at least another, I mean, at minimum, we have another 2 games, assuming there's no more remakes and 9 doesn't get announced before we're done, which seems unlikely. So we realistically have 2 games plus a 4K release that we have to contain all this shit for. So the extra terabytes seemed like a good call. But yeah, that's where that's all been. I do love the new the new sound, the new audio interface. Jeff grabbed this for me. He was off in Indiana earlier in like I guess at the end of the summer. And while he was out there, so his dad, I guess, is a big audiophile and loves like audio tech and stuff. And apparently he caught wind of a really good deal on this, the name of which has escaped me. And there's so many lights in my face that I can't read it. I don't think it's a Scar. I think this is actually a Behringer audio device, audio interface. Euphoria UMC 1920, 1820? 1820. Yeah, that's the thing. Terabytes. And he's not a dentist. He's not that kind of doctor. And he's not from Boston. So that's twice not a good joke. But then a Derringer. Hey, I mean, you get those. It might help with a lot of the bangs and cracks from Eternal Darkness that we're dealing with. I need to figure out what's going on with that. That's been a problem for a while, and I have not been able to find anybody else complaining about audio issues with the Wii. I don't know exactly what it's called off the top of my head, but it's a Wii HDMI out converter. But, I mean, anybody that saw the Mario Sunshine marathon stream would have certainly experienced a lot of those crackles. Eternal Darkness has been struggling with them. I think Brawl had given us some issues with that, too. Brawl doesn't seem to be as terrible with it. Sunshine was really bad. I think it's just because everything was, like, really high up decibel wise, so it made that a little difficult. It seems like basically it essentially seems like it's boosting audio on its own, which I would rather it didn't do. I really don't care to do that, and there's no way to not have it do that. So I got to do some research and see if this is also on 2 different Wiis. Wheezy Wii has essentially been retired. I went to go throw. I think it was not Brawl. I had some GameCube game that I was throwing in, and it wasn't Eternal Darkness either, but it just would not load. I think it is fully dead at this point. It was a trooper. I think the last game that it was really responsible for was Melee. I'd have to go back and check. Sonic Heroes was way too long ago. Sonic Riders as well. Actually, it could have been Sonic Riders, Because I think we did that on GameCube, not PS2. No, that was still a couple years ago. I think it must have been Melee. But yeah, it barely made it through that, and it finally gave. It turns on, and it still does Wii things. I think the laser inside is just dead. Because there was a point where I could get games to load for like a minute at a time, and that was it. And now it just doesn't seem to load anything at all. Which again, yeah, it's a trooper. I think I would have to double check. I think that is my original Wii from 2006 or 2005. I always get this mixed up because the PS3, the Xbox 360, and the Wii released in November 2005, 2006, and 2001 of them. There were 2 in 1 year, 1 in the other, both all in November, and I always mix up which ones are which. I think the Wii was November 2005, and I think the Xbox 360 was also November 2005, and the PS3 was 2006. The Wii might have been 2006. Was it 06? Okay. Then yeah, okay. Because I was like, wait. As I said that, I remembered one of the very smallest things that I can still remember about that era of gaming was that Microsoft got a 1 year head start on that console generation. So yeah, November 05 for Xbox, November 06 for Wii and the PS3. But yeah, so I've had this thing for 18 years. Literally 18 years, and it finally gave up. Might be repairable. That might be a fun little hobbyish thing for me to mess with. We have another Wii, obviously, because we've been playing Eternal Darkness through that. This one doesn't wheeze nearly as much. It still struggles a little bit here and there, but like not nearly to the degree of Wheezy. So yeah, Wheezy and the old audio interface kind of gave up the ghost at the same time. It's kind of wild. But yeah, no, I need to figure out if there's a different device I should use, or if there's an issue with this device, or what. Because I don't like how crackly everything is being there. Kind of ruins the vibe when you have a big explosion. It's just like, I don't like that. So I want to fix that. I want to figure out what can be done to make that better. That might be a thing that I have to do like over Christmas. We'll see. But yeah, speaking of Christmas, why don't we get into the schedule stuff? I don't want to like fly through this, but I also don't want to hold up the community night terribly much. Yeah, Christmas stuff. The Wii U. We're doing the Ultimate Wii U. We finally got it started. There were various points over the year. The original, we really wanted to do it last year, but post-move, everything was still just too chaotic. A lot of things that I thought were going to be easy to handle were not easy to handle, and it just kind of really flew out of our hands there. Like, I should have known better, to be clear. Like, this isn't like, oh, how could I have known? But, like, I think... Because, like, I think I gave myself a false sense of confidence because there was a point where I was moving at least once a year for, like, oh, my God, like 6, maybe 7 years straight. Every year was a new place I was living, sometimes more than one. And I figured, like... You know, okay, this will be kind of similar to that. This won't be too huge of a deal. But I kind of... There are two problems. There, one, I had lived in 2 apartments for more than 5 years apiece. So my move foo was definitely not sharp for that. And also, the previous time that I'd moved... there wasn't a huge amount of... I didn't really have a ton of, like, stuff. Like, I know that sounds silly because I moved from an apartment to here also, but when the old apartment went from Sarah and I and John and Ben slowly down to Sarah and I, we did wind up acquiring more things and filling up the old apartment more. and recording equipment stuff that I had went from we had been doing a channel for 5 years, and I had only been really running the tech side of things for like one, to I was singularly running the tech for a channel that was now 12 years old, and we had infinitely more stuff, tons more games, tons more equipment, consoles, furniture, just things, just tons more things. And I drastically underestimated how much stuff there was. We had to leave furniture behind. I did my best to replace it, but I have kind of my my like game shelves that are off to the side of it. I don't really show that corner terribly much, but you guys would have seen it during the marathon stream. And when we had the old apartments, I had two that were very, very long but short, very narrow, or very shallow too. So you could get a classic game cartridge in there, and it kind of stuck out just a little bit, and it was perfect for that. And we had to leave them behind because they were literally too large once constructed to actually get down the stairs, which meant, one, that we had just tons of boxes over here with nowhere to put them till I, saved up and bought some new shelves. But also, I don't know, it just, the vibes were all over the place, and it just felt like I was living out of the boxes for like a good year there. So yeah, basically, to bring it all back around, because yes, the tangents are really strong today. I thought that I was going to have a better handle of just stuff come like October, November, December of last year, and absolutely didn't. It was like whatever we could get through was going to have to do. And so there were various points over the course of this past year. I was like, maybe we'll do it for the anniversary special. We'll get into the Wii U around April, and we'll do a bunch of those games. It'll last a little over a month. That'll be cool. And then it kind of didn't happen because we were still kind of flying around getting a bunch of stuff figured. It was better. We were doing better with it at that point, but timing wasn't working out. It was hard to wrangle people for recording, and so I was like, let's not like dive harder into that than we need to. And then we got around to the end of this year, and I was like, I think we can manage this. I think we can make this work. Part of the problem, ironically, was that I had to keep refining the list. The list changed a couple times. I think the most high-profile one is when we were planning to do this, Xenoblade Chronicles X was going to be in the list. Would have been a horribly unrepresentative run of it at 30 to 60 minutes probably, but it would have been there. And now they've announced Xenoblade Chronicles X, Definitive Edition for the Switch. So that's now nice. So that's now off the list there. There was another one. It might have even been one that was in the example list. Because what did I gave 5 examples in the trailer video. There was Mario Kart 8, which obviously got deluxe very early into the Switch life cycle. There was Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, which got a definitive edition, I think 2 years ago, maybe 3. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. Because that one got a Switch version. If that one was in 2022, because this was an idea that I had years ago, and it was one that I was like, we can always save that till next year. If we have other stuff that we're doing. And then 2023 came around, and it was like, oh, the Wii U is probably at the end of its life cycle. This is a great time to do it. And it just didn't happen. And now it's after the end of its life cycle, which meant back in whatever fucking month it was, I think literally, I think the same day that I streamed Rusty's Real Deal Baseball for the 3DS, the rest of that day was spent me downloading as many digital 3DS and Wii U titles as I thought we would ever want to touch as possible. which includes all of the digital downloads that you'll be seeing in the Ultimate Wii U. All of those were downloaded the same day that I did Rusty's Real Deal Baseball, which is kind of weird to kind of break. I actually debated swinging back around to Real Deal Baseball and finishing it off at some point. I really should, but how much of the Star Fox series have you played? Not very much. Not very much at all, really. Honestly, the biggest like struggle for me with Star Fox Zero was just it really was just well, for one, it's kind of hard to use the gamepad with the mic stand here. There's literally a straight line that goes out the length of my arms at the level of my face, so I kind of have to like come at it in weird angles. But also, it is surprisingly difficult to change your focus between the gamepad and the TV in a moment's notice. I didn't know about the minus to switch the screens at the time. The game never mentioned it. That would have been nice to know. That would have saved a lot of stress there. And I guess also, depending on which mode you're in, you may want to favor one side or the other. The gamepad screen isn't visible as the main screen once you get out the tutorial. I think the tutorial for the first chunk of it showed you more or less what the cockpit view looks like, which is literally it's a cockpit view. You can turn inside of it, and it's not the R-wing that's turning. Fox will physically turn in the cockpit, and the camera will move with him. So like you are looking around a cockpit, which is neat. It's neat. It would honestly, they could bring it back as a VR thing and probably do fine with it, but it does mean that you're like, okay, cool, here's what's going on. And you kind of get into the habit of like, you're leaning at like a 45-degree angle from where the R-wing is going. And you have to like mentally take notes to not be doing that. It's neat. It's confusing. I think with more time, it would become more natural of a thing. But for what it was right then, it was just a very confusing kind of situation there. Sarah I got some pizza for later for the movies and such, and the Domino's guy just arrived.
Yeet your cat off my lap.
Oh, she had to yeet talk in order to do that. Tell her I'm sorry. She doesn't like surprise noises. I was a self yeet. But yeah, can I finish Rusty's Real Deal Baseball? Yes, I can. Fortunately, they had the foresight to decide, hey, if the eShop is not reachable for some reason, which would, I believe, also include if you happen to be playing in a zone where you have no internet, then anytime you try to buy the game, it will just download it. It'll just go, okay. They understood that there may be a circumstance where the game can't connect to the eShop, and rather than just breaking the game, they go, have it. Because the idea is you ultimately get them all for free anyway. I forget whether you are refunded later in the game if you did agree to pay for them or not, but you can get all of them for free. And so with the way it is now, you just get them all for free. Also, we finished the story mode, so all the other ones are ones that aren't related to like the like story stuff that you have to do. I forget how you get the other half of those games, but they would all be also obtainable for free anyway too. But yeah, so that should all work just fine. Because in fact, when the eShop did go down, we did actually get the download, even though the eShop was gone. Because I think the idea is it's pretending that you're paying for it and then downloading it from the eShop, but what you're actually doing is paying for it or not paying for it, and the game just unlocking it in the existing game. It's already all there to start with. But yeah, so that's what that is. But yes, to stop distracting myself, the Ultimate Wii U, we've been off to a flying start with that. We've done 9 so far. There's a 9th one that's going up tonight. We didn't get a chance to record it until earlier this evening, so it's going to be going up tonight. And we've got another like dozen or so to go. Dozen and a half almost. It's been interesting so far. but I'm nervous because, and I mentioned this in today's video, uh, we've all of these have been done by random. I have a random.org number generator. I have the list. It's in alphabetical order. Whatever number comes up, I go whoop of the ones that are left, and I'll go whoop. Okay, this is the one we're doing. And so far, nearly all of them have been Nintendo-owned properties. Almost all of those being first-party properties. And that list is starting to run dry. And I think that as fluctuating as the quality has already been, I think it's going to get worse very rapidly from here. I think we're at the top of the roller coaster, and it's starting to tick forward, and we're leaning with it. Like, I'm looking forward to hopefully being surprised. I know for a fact that we have a certified stinker in the list, because there is a game that was widely considered the worst game of the year that it came out, of all of video games, the worst for that year. I don't know that we've ever played another video game that has been the worst of that year. So this is going to be a really interesting experience. We haven't gotten to it yet. It's on the list still. It's not Meme Run. Unfortunately, Meme Run is not on the list. I did try to make it happen, but it was basically only listed for like 2 weeks or something before it disappeared. I forget. It was listed for a very short amount of time. It's been delisted for years and years and years. And ironically, it was delisted because it had the troll face in it. And the actual copyright owner of Trollface filed a complaint, basically, which, like, fair dues, you know? So Meme Run is not one of the accessible games, unfortunately. Or unfortunately, I've heard the game kind of sucked anyway, so it's also not Sonic Boom. Though that's maybe the highest profile stinker that's going to be on the list. I've heard horror stories about Sonic Boom, and I don't think we got any. I actually haven't put it into the system yet, so it's going to be an unpatched version of the game. So that's going to be really interesting because I'm not going to go and do the Knuckles infinite jump glitch, but I know it exists. So that'll be interesting. The patches may still work, but I don't know. I think some of them might still function properly, anyway. But yeah, no, there is some absolute garbage on the list there. Incomprehensible list of words. The title. I believe that is correct. I believe you are correct. Based off of that description, it applies to this game more than anything else that we're going to be playing. I want to say IGN called it the worst Wii U game, period. And they also called it the worst Wii U game, the worst game of 2013. And we get to play it because it never came out anywhere else. Other notable ones that we're not doing. Devil's Third was one that folks were asking about. That one did have a Windows version as well. It was only the online version, but it is still a Windows port. That was one that I was really on the fence about. That's maybe the one I was the most on the fence about. Not helped by the fact that Devil's Third is absurdly hard to get a hold of. They made very, very, very few physical copies. And any that exist on eBay are running like $200-$300 a piece. And that's a little outside my budget for this. Like, I think that might actually be more than I spent on all of the other physical games combined. So, not going to be doing that one. Also, it does have a Windows version. Smash Brothers for Wii U. We're not doing that one because Smash Brothers for 3DS is its partner game. They really are the same game split across two consoles with different features. But it is ultimately really the same game. The fact that the 3DS version of the game can be used to control the Wii U version of the game is like, Smash for Wii U, I think they might also be considering Smash for Wii U to be a partnered game with the 3DS. It was what my decision for it was. I think that's what they went with too. The only Sonic Olympic game that is a Wii U exclusive is the Rio, not Rio, is Sochi, I think. Sochi 2014 or is it Rio 2016? I got to double check. I might have actually grabbed the wrong one for the trailer, which is embarrassing. We have the correct one. But the other ones either had a DS or 3DS version released. So this is the only one that appeared on just the Wii U. And those should be on the list for. Yes, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD are also not on. Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah, I think because they consider those HD remakes in the same vein as like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, even though those are fully new games as opposed to like a remaster, I guess is more the accurate thing. Twilight Princess and Wind Waker are not in our list. I'm not doing those because I'm considering those ports. They're ports up from the GameCube and Wii. They've been remastered for the Wii U in various ways, but they're ultimately ports. But so excuse me, my God. There were a lot of people. Oh, Yoshi's Woolly World and Sonic Lost World were ones that people were asking about. Those are also not on the list because they also have 3DS versions. There was one more that really stuck out, and I cannot remember it right now. Because I talked Devil's Third, and I was going to segue into it, and I lost it. I don't remember. But yeah, the list kept kind of changing little by little for like 2 years. So I had to keep reevaluating and stuff, but we've got it whittled down. We're covering them. And I think people are going to be pretty happy with Lost Worlds on Steam. Yeah. But yes, they are different games almost completely, but I had to draw the line with certain things like somewhere. And the simultaneous multi-console release thing kind of throws off the idea of it being a proper exclusive, and so that's kind of where I went with it. Is like if it got any kind of release on any other system, then it was off, Excuse me, my God. So that's the big event that we've been doing right now. Other stuff that's going on: Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. We've been playing through that. I've been enjoying it greatly. We have like one episode still in the can. We've been slowly putting them out. Not as fast as I've wanted to, but getting through the end of the fall has been a little bit tricky. But we're going to be recording some more this weekend, and we'll be getting that moving further. And I'm excited to get back into. I mean, I'm not. I don't want to rush out of Echoes of Wisdom, but I am excited to get into the rest of the Legendary Let's Play Reawakens. I got some very fun stuff in store for that. And I'm very excited to see what people think of that set of games too. We got some good stuff there. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond post game is not dead. I just haven't had time to sit down. I'm in the middle of a lot of grinding, like a ludicrous amount of grinding, and I just haven't had the time to dedicate to it. Over the next week or two, we'll see. I would love to get it going before the end of the year again, but it will be finished. It will not sit in hiatus for like a year or two or any of that stuff. It's going to get done. Specifically because I want to reduce the number of like left-hanging Pokemon things. This would just happen to be an instance where like the game just went difficulty curve, just poof, like vertical wall. So I want to get my team situated, and I think people will be appreciative of the steps that I'm taking for the grinding to make this work. So there's that. Heart Gold Soul Silver is the new hotness. We only have one episode up right now. We're getting art made, though I came at it much later than I wanted to because I was waiting on invoices from the work stuff I was doing to be able to afford having the art made. And Arrow is also in the middle of like a big important project like of his own, so we will get to it when we get to it. We have the entire first chapter recorded and ready to go with editing, but I want to make sure that I'm not like rushing anybody else, and also I'm coordinating with John to get some Soul Silver going as well. He's been away for like the last month or so we haven't had a good chance to actually record more. I wanted to record some Soul Silver when he got back, and then he's been gone for longer. So we're figuring stuff out. Hopefully around the holidays, getting into January, we'll have Soul Silver started recording as well. Um, so that'll be a thing there. Sonic's been in a little bit of a pause status, not intentionally. There's been a lot of things going on. I've had to be fair, both Sonic and I guess for a sideways reason, Mega Man have been kind of frozen because of the Mega Man project that I've been working on. I don't want to spoil what's going on there just yet, but essentially, a large part of it revolved around Twitter, revolved around screen caps and things from Twitter, and then the election happened, and then Twitter announced that they were going to feed everybody's shit into Grok, whether they want it or not. Apparently, and that was the point where I was like, okay, I need to crank it into overdrive. I need to be very, 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 very quickly grabbing what I need before, because people have been bailing left and right, myself included, and people are locking down accounts, deleting accounts and stuff, and I'm like, I need to get this shit while I still can. And then apparently this week, I don't know how accurate this is because I don't stick my head in there often enough to find out, but apparently they're making a change such that you can't see the timestamp for a tweet anymore. I don't think it's active yet, or maybe it is for the app but not online. But the idea being you can't see the time, just the date, which is fucking so pointlessly stupid. I saw someone their take on it was that it might literally just be so that no one can claim that Elon Musk stole their memes anymore, which, like, anybody else on the planet would be like, that's such a stupid thing to, whatever. And now it's like, I've seen him literally pretend before. So, like, yeah, it showed timestamps when I was on there, when I looked earlier today, actually. But I need to get the last bits. I have 3 or 4 people that I need to reach out to get access to what's left there. I think what I've got is enough at this point, but I would like to have everything and then edit it down as need be, as opposed to just not having stuff. This project is by far the biggest thing I've ever worked on. In terms of project scope, I don't have a way of comparing it to Michael Jackson, which is definitely the biggest thing results wise that we've ever worked on. But the amount of work that went into the Michael Jackson video was a lot, but I've put comparable amounts of effort into other stuff since. This video has been on and off. It was on and off a year of just kind of putting together a very different project, and then it became an extremely different project right around the 1 year mark, and I've been spending another year working on it off and on from there. It's an absolute fucking ton of information that I'm trying to work with and boil down into something digestible at all. And it's difficult subject matter at times to get into. And there's just a lot of moving parts. There was a point where I was convinced that I was just about ready to start filming, and that was like 6 months ago. And right now I'm at a point where I'm like, I am nowhere near ready to film. I have so much legwork that I still have to do to convert this into something that can be a video. I was hoping to have it out by the end of the year, and I don't think that's going to happen. The absolute craziness of a lift I would need to put into it to be able to get it out before the end of the year is insane. If I was not working and was only doing D-pad and then also wasn't doing any other videos for the D-pad, maybe it would be doable in the next like 3.5 weeks. But I just don't think it's going to happen. It's too much. Even turning it into a script is probably going to take basically the rest of the month at least. This is the project that's been keeping Mega Man paused for like 2 years now. Um, God, it really is almost 2 years at this point, isn't it? I did Christmas 2022, and then I think that was the last one that we did outside of Star Force. Um, yeah, it's going to take a ton of work to turn it into a video, and then it's going to take a ton of work to edit and produce it beyond that. Um, just adjusting in my seat. I hope that it is worth it. Not in the sense that like, oh, I hope it does 1 million views or whatever, but like I hope that it does what it is setting out to do. I'll just leave it at that. And regardless of how well or how poorly it all goes, I think I'll certainly have some kind of like post-mortem kind of thing. I don't know if it'll be a video. I don't know if it'll be a stream or a hangout or something, but I'll certainly talk about it in some way or another because it's been an interesting ride for sure, with some interesting kind of other ancillary stuff that I guess I still won't be able to talk about even then, but there's a lot that's happening there, and I feel bad that it's left Mega Man by the wayside for so long. Yeah, it's been next up for 2 years plus now, and it's been fully recorded. It's mostly edited too, and the entire next game is also recorded and partly edited. I haven't exported anything because the outros need to be correct and up to date with like Patreon stuff. But I've got stuff that's more or less just ready to rock as soon as it's there. There's just so much. There's so much. I hope people don't hate it. I think that's kind of where I'm at with it. If people are kind of like, and by people I mean you guys, but also the folks who are subscribed and aren't patrons, and folks who kind of visit from outside but aren't subscribed, and just random passersby. I just don't want people to fucking despise it, So we'll see. So that's kind of where that's at. Star Force, we got the post game started. I'm going to try to record some more when we get Jeff next. I don't think he's going to be here for this weekend, but I think we're going to try to figure out either next weekend or perhaps during the week. December's getting a little bit his own demo reel. I was going to say like, oh no, do you mean demo reel with capital letters? Oh no, nothing that I was going to say self-important. That's maybe a bit rude. That might be a little bit too mean. Because like I've talked before. I don't like Doug Walker, not anymore. Anyway, I used to, but enough stuff came out and was corroborated and stuff that I was just kind of like, oh, never mind, I'm done here. Demo reel is one that's like, it's fascinating from an outside perspective because it's like standard cards maybe make the deck better. No, oh yeah, no, the deck is as good as it can mathematically be. We know this. It can't be better. There's no. But yeah, no. Demo reel was a very interesting thing from the outside where we got to watch a guy try to escape the thing that made him famous, essentially. And it turned out that people really just liked his one bit, and came back for it when he returned to it. But like, it was very interesting to see him try to navigate into something more genuinely artistic. Like, execution aside, he obviously was trying to do something. He was trying to, write a story, make art, that kind of thing. He went at it in a very bad way. One of the obvious things that you as a writer really shouldn't do is try to capitalize or reframe tragedy, I think. especially a very personal tragedy, especially a very recent personal tragedy, you really shouldn't try to take your own spin on the tragedy of a person's life like that. Um, for anybody who's not familiar, demo reel started out essentially as being a bunch of nostalgia critic esque skits, and then kind of showed its hand as secretly being a treatise on the of damage that Hollywood can cause, especially in regard to like child actors and stuff like that. Uh, and women in Hollywood as well, except they wound up essentially Doug played a fictional version of a real child actor who I think is dead. I can't remember. Uh, his character's mother in universe, I want to say, was also a fictional version of a real Hollywood actress who ended her own life, partly due to what like Hollywood and everything was doing to her. So really tasteless, really tactless. Uh, there are ways to try to relay a story like that without reframing it around yourself. And that's just kind of coming at it from the standpoint of the statement he was trying to make with it. I could go on for a lot longer, and I won't. On the production value was not very good. The writing was really, really bad most of the time, and it just a lot of other problems that went along with that. And it was kind of the seeing the consequences of his own actions in regard to both how big he had made his Nostalgia Critic brand, in addition to him not owning the Nostalgia Critic brand. Mike Machad, who was a phenomenal piece of shit, as bad as Doug is, Mike Machad is infinitely worse. Uh, owns owns. I don't know if he still does. He probably does. Owns the rights to the Nostalgia Critic, which was part of the payment he requested for building them a website. He built them one of their websites, either Channel Awesome or That Guy with the Glasses, and he bought the domain, like he bought the hosting for it, and as payment, he was given the rights to the Nostalgia Critic. So now he just owns the whole fucking show. So yeah, but yeah, I might be mistaken on the real child actor. It was I think it was more designed as like a pastiche of child actors, like your Macaulay Culkins and like those types where that just kind of becomes, or like Shirley Temple, ones where the system kind of chews you up and spits you out. And if you are not fortunate enough to have parents who really, really, really have your back and are looking out for your best interests, then you wind up with nothing. I want to say Macaulay Culkin's parents basically took his money. I know Gary Coleman's parents took his money, though granted he was acting long enough as a child that he was able to eventually scrape some out of it, but a lot of child actors left with basically nothing. Hell, one of the craziest ones, Britney Spears, her conservatorship was a big deal a few years ago because it was finally made public that her dad was basically taking all of the money she was making. Like, she had almost nothing to her own name into her, like, what, 30s, maybe 40s. Shit's fucked up. Entertainment is a nasty fucking place. But let's step away from all that. Other things on the schedule before we break away and hop into cheerier things. Where's my thing here? Bum, ba, da, ba, 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 ba. Eternal Darkness. Eternal Darkness has been great. I think we've recorded about halfway through the game. The episode that is going up, I guess, on Monday. I was hoping to get it up today, but the episode that goes up Monday is the final one that has broken, fucked up, dark video. Something was wrong with the signal, and the video was coming through much, much darker than it was supposed to. I have gone and replayed the first like third of the game just to get cutscenes to be brighter that I could then staple on top of the footage that we did in the recordings. So if you notice at any points that like, oh, this scene actually doesn't look so bad, and if it's a cutscene, it is probably a re-recorded cutscene that I recorded, put the video on top of it, and just swooped it in there. So after the next video, after we are done with Maximilian Roivas, the video is fixed. And I know what to look for with this game in particular is to know that the video is correct before we go in. So apologies. Huge fuck up. I'm really embarrassed about that. 11 episodes that are crazy, crazy dark. It will be a lot more bearable after the next episode. That said, I hope people are enjoying Eternal Darkness. Otherwise, it has been a fun ride so far. I love Eternal Darkness. It seems that Jeff and Dave are also enjoying it. CJ obviously joined in for a chunk of that as well. He's a big fan of Eternal Darkness too. So yeah, I hope you guys have been having fun with that. Resident Evil 5 is going to be coming up when we get a chance. We're like figuring out schedules and getting all that stuff started. We've got a cool thing in mind for what we're going to do for Resident Evil 5. So hold on to your butts. Whenever we get Jeff here for a decent stretch, we're gonna do Kingdom Hearts Kingdom Hearts Key back cover as well, and we will be then finally jumping into Kingdom. Oh boy, let's see if I can get this right. Kingdom Hearts. Is it 0.2 Birth by Sleep or Birth by Sleep 0.2? A fragmentary passage. I don't know which order those go in, but it's 0.2. The reference being that Birth by Sleep gets referred to a few times as Kingdom Hearts 0 within the context of the games, which makes sense. It is functionally the one especially important prequel in terms of the protagonist. I know Dark Road is also a prequel from the Xehanort side of things. Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage. Okay. Part of, yeah, I guess the joke they went for with that is that the 0.2 plus the 2.8 brings you to Kingdom Hearts 3. I guess they went a little off the rails with the number jokes, I think. Got a little bit weird there. Let's see. Twitch stuff that's going on. It's mostly just been me for the last chunk of time. I've been doing Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake. It's been great. In the next stream, we're gonna go get a boat. We were going to do it in the last stream, but then we wound up exploring the far north of the eastern continent. We got to Mur, so we got stuff to do over there, and then we're gonna be heading to Portoga. We could also be doing the Mur stuff after we get the boat. This is where the game kind of opens up a little bit more. But we're kind of, I want to say that getting the boat is functionally kind of where Act 2 sort of begins as far as the stuff goes. It gets a little bit more open, a little less linear, and there's a lot to explore. A lot of rivers. There's a lot of rivers we're gonna be bringing our ship up into, and the far eastern continent is like a little water maze of stuff. So, but yeah, Dragon Quest 3, love it to death. So psyched to be playing it. There's been a bunch of Mario Party Madnesses as well. I believe I am in. I want to say that I have 5 games that I'm in before the end of the year. Might be 4, might be 5. I gotta double check. Actually, sorry, 4 plus. We're doing another Sonic Shuffle. I think either next week or the week after we're doing Sonic Shuffle. So that's gonna be a good time. But the end of the year, we're gonna be having literally the last week of the year. I'm actually in the last 3 games of the year / maybe season. I don't know if he's gonna be calling that the end of season 4. But Jeff is going to be jumping on one of those games, and Sarah is also going to be jumping on one of those games. Sarah's going to be joining me on my team with for the final Mario Party Madness of the year. So it'll be a good time. Those will be coming. I think it's like the 27th, 29th, and 30th. I think are the dates for those. Sonic Shuffle just isn't the same with all the textures working. Yeah, honestly, a big part of the charm before for our version of it was the textures fucking up, the water being like not penetrable by light rays, and also the text randomly just garbling up. Though it did happen. It did happen once. In the first Sonic Shuffle game we did on there, it did happen. The text did get fucked up once. So it is still a possibility that we're going to get weird text. But yeah, so that's been kind of where that's at. When Dragon Quest is over, I will be returning to Persona 4 Golden and finishing it. We're quite close to the end. I think we essentially have one dungeon that we need to grind for, and we want to hit some quests up. And leading into the end of the game, we probably have, I don't know. I would just guess like 3 streams left, maybe 4. I don't know. Other people will have a better idea than I do. Just based off of the pacing we're at right now, my guess would be 3 or 4. But so we're no, okay, all right, that's cool. I guess I'm thinking. I think I'm thinking of it in terms of like when we're done with this chapter, this is the final chapter. But I guess this is golden, and so there's a bunch of extra shit at the start of the year, right? So I suppose more than that. We'll also be getting back into Smash Brothers Brawl. We have quite a ways to go, but we're slowly cracking down. Be very close to the okay. So base Persona 4. Is this the last dungeon normally for Persona 4? Because it certainly feels like it. Like it certainly sees story-wise too. It feels like we're running up to the finish, to the point where, depending how fast I were to grind, I could arguably get the game done in one stream. But I guess we'll see where the golden content goes from here, right? But yeah, Smash Brawl. We're doing the Nightmare streams. We're aiming to 100% that. I want to say Classic Mode and All-Star Mode are completely done. Subspace Emissary, we have, I think, like 8. There's like 4 enemy trophies and all 8 boss trophies that need to happen. And then we have all the other modes. Some of them are going to be much more tedious than others. We also have like 8,000 coins to burn in the coin launcher, which is going to be a phenomenal way of getting random trophies and stickers. Yeah, Target Smash is going to be next. That's going to be even more tedious than All-Star Mode in some ways. It's going to be very repetitive, but the repetition will also be much shorter. So we will see. My hope, because how many fighters are there in Brawl? There's like, is it 37? I think it's 37 plus or minus, depending on how you're counting, like Pokemon Trainer and Zelda Sheik and all that, and Samus. But I guess 37 times the 5 rounds of that. Yeah, it'll probably be more than it'll almost certainly be more than one stream. My hope is we could get it done in 2, but might be 3. We'll have to see. It'll depend on how things are going, because we also have target times we're going for. But I think we're going to be leaving the Subspace Emissary at this point for last. We'll probably be doing boss battles before Subspace Emissary for 2 reasons. One, any stickers we can get anywhere will help out in Subspace Emissary, and also struggling my way through boss battles will make it easier for me to survive long enough to use the trophy stands in Subspace Emissary, is my opinion on the matter. I don't know if that will actually hold, if that will properly be true, but that's, I think, the strategy I'm going to take with it, that those are going to be the last 2 things that we do. And then after that, I've got some interesting stuff that I want to do. I have 2 interesting stream things that I would like to get into. One of them will probably replace Persona 4, at least for a bit. The other one will probably be just an occasional whenever I got time for it kind of thing. Like, it'll probably just be random odd Fridays or something. 35 not including, 39 including. Hilarious. So 37 is right down the middle then. Um, but yeah, we'll have some interesting stuff to do with there. I think one of them people will find very cool. One of them people will straight up go, Rick, why? And you're not wrong to think that or say that. But what it will lead into, I think, is a much more interesting thing. So there's that. I think that's everything that's been covered. I don't want to break away from this super fast, but we're also going to have another hangout in 2 weeks. And that one, I think we will just start earlier in general, just so we can have a longer, more casual hangout before we do whatever our community night is. As you can see there, right there, Friday, December 20th. It's very close. It's only 2 weeks away. But the Friday after that is one of those Mario Party games. And the Friday after that is in 2025. And it feels really wrong to do a final hangout, our December hangout in the next year, So we're going to do it on the 20th. We're going to hang out. We're going to do stuff. We're going to have another community night. We should be getting back into Digimon in January. Things will be a lot calmer. I should have mentioned too with the Mario Party Madness thing. Mario Party Madness is going to be off the air for the first 3 months of 2025, just in general. So we'll be pretty laser focused for the most part on what we're working on. Though there is another project that there's actually 2 projects now that I think about it that folks have been ping ponging around that may happen. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The next time, please. Yes. Oh yeah. No. I definitely dropped the ball on getting this stuff organized for this month. I'm really sorry about that. This time of year just gets so fucking crazy. I need to figure out a better way to do all of this stuff so that we can be sure to be on top of it further out. But I'll make that a major goal for myself for 2025 to be better with that, because I think that does that matters. I want people to be able to come and hang out and enjoy stuff. But yeah, I am going to pull this down for a minute. The video file is already ready to go, so we should be able to get started in just a couple minutes. So I will see you guys over on the Discord, and happy holidays, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye.